Hey guys, welcome. I am Andrea, your host, and this is Raising Myself. This show is me talking about my experiences and my perspectives as I move through this world as a Black working mother of two and a wife. Today we're actually going to talk about the wife part. If you joined me last week, we talked about motherhood with my friend Kayla Jo from the Hello Real show. We had a really fun conversation. We both agreed that the pandemic, I'm pretty sure a lot of people agree actually, that the pandemic was just making a already challenging job of being like a parent just a touch more challenging, but we were also able to highlight some of those positives that we got from the pandemic, which I thought was really beautiful. Today's show, we're going to talk about love. I'm going to have my husband, Jared, on the show. He was teasing me like, about time. I've had other guests, and I guess he was just waiting for his time to shine. Well, today is his day. I also have another couple, Anthony and Ashley, join us a little bit later. They also have a podcast, and they'll have an opportunity to tell us about that as well. Honestly, I think the pandemic for us, it has been a little challenging, but from a relationship standpoint, I mean, we're just hanging out and spending some time together. I think a nice touch about things opening back up is we've definitely gotten to the groove of having more regular date nights and just getting out of the house, just the two of us. That has been really awesome. But before that, we've had a couple of like paint nights. We attempted to have some movie nights. I'm not going to lie and sit here like, oh, we planned a movie night, because I'm pretty certain I fell asleep on every single one. But at least we attempted to have some movie nights. Of course, I think there were moments where we were getting on each other's nerves, but I think even if you take the pandemic away, that would probably still be the case. He's nodding his head. I have been continuously working. So we've still been able to have like a level of separation. So I know some people are in the situation where they're both home together. But we've been able to have a little bit of separation because I have been working this entire time, which has been a blessing and a curse. He nodded again. Yes. I'm making a decision actually to go down to 4 days a week. Right now I work 5 days a week. I'm always off on Sundays and just one other off day. But honestly, on Sundays, we're like chilling. I attempted to fold laundry. Guys, if you could see, my couch is just covered in the laundry that I folded. I didn't do anything with it. So the living room just looks like a mess. And then I literally laid on the couch and took a nap. So Sundays, I try to do stuff. Sometimes I cook after the show, but I find myself just kind of trying to relax, which I think is definitely well-deserved after a long week. But then that next day, it's like, I feel like I need one more day. Like, I feel like I run out of time of like things that I want to do around the house or even just with the kids. Me and Naya are planning, that's my 12-year-old daughter. We're planning to go thrifting on Tuesday. Like, we have like a little date planned. And so I'm super excited about that. And I just really want to balance that time that I'm spending at work and the balance and the time that I'm spending with my family. And right now it's not feeling very balanced. So I'm actually making a decision to go down to 4 days a week, which I think will benefit everyone. Right, Jared?
Yep.
All right. So Jared's going to come on out. Do you want to talk about yourself?
Sure. Why not? I don't ever have too much of an issue with that.
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? I'm Jared Glover. I am this lovely woman's husband of 4 years, going on 5.
I forget sometimes.
I just remember how Grayson.
Oh, I see.
Like
okay.
Like the month before.
Yeah. People are like, "Oh, how long have you been married?" I'm like, But I just know we've been together almost a decade. So Sometimes I just say that.
Right. Like, yeah, we've been together for a while now.
Yeah.
We just got married.
Right.
Grayson's age. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm also known as Captain Atlanta. If you follow me on any of my other social medias or anything like that, I do music production. I write songs. I am currently writing a comic book.
Awesome. You're so talented.
So, just touching on most things creative is kind of my thing, and loving her.
Thank you. I love you. I'm not going to kiss you because Naya's going to cringe.
Oh, yeah.
We were kissing earlier and Naya was just like, ew, oh my God. I was like, we're going to do that on the show and we're going to dedicate a kiss to you.
Oh my God. Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that.
I'm like, you should be so grateful that we are still so affectionate. She asked us, I don't know where this question came from, but she literally was like, do you guys cuddle? And we like stare at each other like at night, like because like once I'm out, like I'm out. But the answer is like not really, but we do find that we still have a lot of physical touch. Like we're always touching.
Always hugs,
yeah,
kisses.
Yeah.
Sometime when we're laying in the bed, in awkward ways, we still have like a leg across each other or something wild like that.
I'm like a baby. I'm gonna just put my foot on you, just my big toe.
Right, that's it.
I just want to touch you. I just got my pinky, just my pinky. But like, yeah, I'm like, you should just be so lucky that your parents are super affectionate and love each other and like each other. Can we talk about that? And like each other. She just kind of giggled in this like kind of like embarrassed way that I'm almost certain when she gets older, she will appreciate.
Oh yeah, but right now she hates that.
Right now she's like, ew.
Oh, that's super nasty.
That's super. But so a lot of people don't know this, but me and Jared actually met in high school. We've known each other for an extremely long time. Mm-hmm. I still remember what I was wearing the first day of high school.
I still remember it too.
Walking up to my bus stop with my fresh press because my hair was laid.
And some blue jeans, a white shirt with a blue jean jacket.
Yep.
And some white K-Swiss.
Yeah, K-Swiss was it then. And then I started high school in 2003. So this was 2003.
And that big old smile.
Okay, that's enough. So right, I'm getting up to the bus stop and I see him talking to some of my friends from middle school. And then we get on the bus and my friend Daryl is like, hey, Andrea, my friend thinks you're cute. And I turn around, I'm like, oh, you're cute too. Then I just turn back around like, I'm just joking.
No, that is exactly what you did.
But so we were just like friends. And then I moved schools and sad face. I changed schools junior year. And then I was working at a movie theater, like down the street, like close to his side of town. And then we reconnected and then we dated for a little bit, but.
Don't you say it.
I'm going to say it.
I'm
going to say it. He didn't want to be exclusive with me, y'all. And he just broke my heart. Facts are facts, okay? He can't argue the fact that he broke my heart. How can he say that? How can he say that didn't happen? Because it happened. He can't argue the fact that he didn't want to be exclusive. Those are the facts. It didn't happen because he didn't want it to happen. And why you got your head down? I haven't said any lies yet. Yeah. So anybody listening on Facebook and Needle?
No, so look, y'all. I'm gonna ask y'all real quick. Women, think about this. Because I know how men gonna feel. So women, I want y'all to think about this, right? Let's say you and a guy are talking, right? Y'all are talking. You're dating, doing things, whatever, right? And it comes to that time where you're like, yo, I want something a little bit more with this guy. This, and the third. The guy tells you straight up, like, look, I think that you're too dope of a person or too great of a person for me to enter into a relationship with you right now because I don't know if I'm ready for that at this particular time. And I would rather not ultimately hurt you by being in a relationship and doing something stupid because I value who you are as a person. Like, I like who you are. Would you still be holding on to broke your heart? Just ponder that.
I'm sorry, but Ashley on Facebook said she's laughing so hard and you missed out because you did. But anyways,
all I'm saying, I didn't miss out. I came back around.
You know what?
What did it say? I circled the block.
I heard. Okay. Ashley always also said, but real recognize real. Ashley, I appreciate you. And ultimately it seems like she's agreeing with you. And all jokes aside, I agree with you too. I appreciate you too. I appreciate those comments on Facebook. If you're also listening in on Needle, please go ahead and join in the conversation with those questions and comments as well. We appreciate you. I'm gonna stop this decade-long argument. Okay. And then I'm gonna introduce our lovely friends. Okay, Ashley and Anthony. Hi, Ashley and Anthony.
Hi. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
We're good, thanks.
Yeah, doing well this evening.
So we know that you also have a podcast, and I'm gonna let you guys talk about your podcast a little bit, and then tell you guys that I was just listening to like 2 episodes today. I want to say I have some comments about them. So tell everybody a little bit about yourselves and about your podcast and where they can find it.
Yeah, so we've been married 2.5 years now, and we host a podcast called A&A on Life. It's available on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, on Apple Podcasts, and it is us having conversation about what it's like to do life together, about being married, and all the ups and downs and fun and
things we've learned,
challenges,
expectations we brought into the relationship,
right?
Just struggles we have personally and how that affects the relationship. Just open discussion.
All right. So it's been fun.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been fun.
Listen to the compromise versus sacrifice. I think that's the title. Because y'all posted a clip on Facebook on Instagram that just had me too tickled. When Ashley, you were saying that you sacrifice a dating life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just too tickled by that because your response, Anthony, was like, she said that. Wow. But what made me laugh even more listening to it is, Anthony, you continue to be like, well, I missed this. And she's like, wait a minute now. I never said I missed the thing. I didn't say that. Did you say that? I didn't. I was like, if that wasn't the smoothest watch yourself I ever heard in my life, I was too tickled. I really enjoyed that podcast. First of all, both of you have like these very soothing voices. I feel like y'all both could be on like the Calm app, like the app where you like read bedtime stories
all the time. Like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Whisper couple.
We both whisper.
You're a whisper couple.
I'm like, hey babe, what's going on?
I feel like if you guys hang out with us, you're gonna have to speak up a little bit. We're not gonna be able to hear you.
We loud.
Not only are we loud, we were talking the other day about how loud our son is. We just were shaking our head like we got it. He got it honest. Like he didn't know. Yeah, just huh?
And I said, what else is it gonna be?
Right. Like he had no choice but to be loud. We're gonna hear him. We're gonna hear what he has to say.
He ain't got no choice but to be loud and talkative.
Okay. But then I started listening to the criticism versus feedback.
That's good.
Yeah, you said that's a good one.
That was some of our best work right there.
And I think that one really touched on like how you say things and like the wording around it. So I'm gonna get back to that one when we start our clear communication segment. So before that, I just have a couple of questions, a couple of icebreakers for us. First of all, I wanted to know, how did y'all meet?
You want me to tell it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it was at a Lock and Key event in downtown LA. You were supposed to be there with some friends, but you ended up being there by yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm a elementary school teacher, and it was a Thursday night. So I was like dog tired. I didn't want to go out, but I didn't want to leave my friend hanging. So I met up with her there. And basically it's a little game, all the ladies have locks and the men walk around with keys around their neck. And, you're supposed to mingle as you see which key fits the lock. And the whole point is so that you can meet someone, possibly date, whatever. So, I'm walking around, really there for my friend, kind of being her wingman. And I just ran out of gas, and I went to go sit down in the quiet area of the restaurant, and he was in the hallway and he's on his phone. And it was really narrow. Like you literally had to like kind of crab walk to get past. So I didn't want to be rude. So I just stopped and I said, hello, how are you? And, he's on his phone. He looked up and he just put his phone down. I was like, I'm fine. How are you? And so we started talking in the hallway, and he said, can we go over, and sit down and talk? And I was like, yeah, sure. So we sat down and we started talking and, joking and kidding around. And he asked me for my number. And I was like, yeah, sure. Here you go. And I had forgotten that I told you that Friday is art day. So I'm preparing my mind now. The kids come to school hyphy because they are so ready for art day. And I just have to get my mind together for all the excitement and the energy in the room. And he texted me the next morning. It was like, I hope art day goes well. And I was like, oh, he listened. So the rest is history.
That is so sweet. So you didn't even get a chance to try a lock or anything, huh? Or have somebody try your lock? You're the one with the lock, or you the one with the key?
Yeah, the women had the lock.
Yeah,
so
the women had the lock.
I went through the whole thing, talking and meeting people, but I wasn't really there for that. I was there for
okay.
And I was I didn't have makeup on. Like I had a sweater dress, turtleneck.
Completely covered up.
Oh my goodness. So the universe knew that you needed to be there.
They're not to meet nobody, but met somebody.
Right.
Right. My friend, she told this joke for so long. She's like, I was there to catch somebody and you walked away.
Talk about salty. I'm like, wait a minute now. You're supposed to be my wingman. Hello?
Absolutely.
Hello? She looking for you. You ducked off in the corner, key, and like,
right, like, you're supposed to be here for me.
Ma'am. That is too cute. Right. I love that, Anthony, that you remembered that the next day was art day. Also, Ashley, I want to say being a teacher is God's work. Like,
bless you.
I just know that y'all are not recognized or appreciated enough. Everyone cannot do it. Like, seriously. Yeah.
She bypassed the hall, but that was the first thing I did. She said she was a teacher, and I gave her a hug.
That's true.
You forget about that.
That's
bypass that part in the story.
I don't know why.
Because I feel you. Like, that is the hardest job ever. And as soon as she said it, I just gave her a hug. Like, she didn't know my name. Nothing.
I was like, oh
my God, you're a teacher? You need some love. Let me consult you for a sec. Is everything okay? You need anything?
How many drinks you want tonight?
Okay. And it's so funny. We've always been those parents when y'all send home like the list. We'll get like extra. We're like, what else you need?
We love you.
Okay. y'all
we love you.
On Facebook arguing about why we need 36 boxes of tissue. It's like, because
you're 40.
Okay. Because we have friends who are teachers, and we know that a lot of those expenses come out of your pockets. So
Absolutely.
On top of dealing with our knucklehead children, you also spending your money, and we're like, here you go.
Money. We spending our money.
I'm sorry. Sorry about
that, Anthony. Our money is being spent.
He came with me to Staples one day. It's before we got married, right before the start of the year. And, I'm buying crayons and pencils, erasers, sharpeners, pencil boxes, cut everything, paper, all the things. And he's like, is this an every year expense? Like, is this just what you do? It's like, yeah. Like, this is what you're signing up for,
right?
Sir.
You're signing up for a Staples visit.
We'll be back again in 6 months.
Exactly.
Ashley, I'm sorry. Why are you going to Staples? I don't know why you said Staples, and I was like, that just has to be expensive.
Well, they have a good deal for teachers.
Really? Oh, okay. That's awesome. Okay, that's good to know.
It's like 50% off or something. You just show your school ID, and they give you a good deal.
Oh no, that's awesome. That is some appreciation right there. Okay, shout out to Staples.
Yeah, Staples knows.
Okay, Staples.
Right.
You're like, thank you, Staples. You know what you do.
Must be a teacher on the board.
Okay.
Right.
Oh my goodness. So, Anthony, what is your favorite thing about Ashley?
I greatly appreciate her kindness, her playfulness. You know, I'm a words of affirmation person. That's what I need to feel loved, and she gives me that all the time. I just I just feel I feel alive when I'm around her. Like she brings out my playfulness as well. Probably more so than she ever thought, because I was very stoic when she met me, and then like when she really got to know me, she got to see how silly I was. But she brings it out of me, so I really appreciate that because I can be comfortable with her. So that's what it is. It's like I just feel comfortable when I'm around her. So those are a few of my favorite things.
I was like, that was not one, but that was just so
That
sweet.
wasn't.
Like, he was like, I needed to
good.
wrap it up and tell you. No, don't apologize. That was so sweet.
Hype up your queen.
Okay. You're like, I think the fact that you can just be yourself, I think honestly that's probably like the highest compliment, right? Like I understand that, not me personally, but like I understand that when people first meet you, you might come off a certain type of way, but when people really get to know you, the person that comes to mind for me is my sister. When you get to know my older sister, she is the goofiest person, but like if you don't know her, you would just think like she's so serious. And I always think about the people that don't get a chance to know her true personality and that like what they're missing out on. So the fact that Ashley is able to bring that out of you is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Ashley. I don't know how you're going. I need you to follow up.
I know, right? Ooh, I should have gone first. No, my favorite thing, and I'm going to keep it to one thing. My absolute favorite thing is his perspective. He teaches me to see the world differently, and that's huge for me because I'm so, I won't say that I have tunnel vision, but I guess I should just admit it, that if I settle on an idea or a thought, I'm pretty much like, yep, that's what it is. You know, I can be really stubborn about it. But then, you know, he's so open to others, and he shows empathy and kindness, and you know, he can put himself in the shoes of anyone and really just like, well, you know, think about it this way. What about, you know, what if, you know, they had a hard day, or what if this happened? You know, give them a little grace, extend a little patience in this area. And it's like, oh, yeah, you're right. You know, and it really is my favorite thing about him, because not everyone can do that, especially with me. It's like if I believe a certain thing and it's like, no, I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna be stubborn about this. But he definitely he brings empathy and understanding into my world in a way that no one else can or has.
That's beautiful. I love the Elevating Empathy podcast. I was introduced to your podcast, Anthony, through Jasiri. And
Jasiri, what's up, girl?
I've just been hooked, you know, ever since. And I could imagine being with Ashley, being with somebody who's like, well, look at this way. Look at, like, I'm exhausted. My mind is expanding in ways that I wasn't prepared to do. So
I was happy to just be thinking about
I already made up my mind. Right.
And, you know, you challenged me in that, but that's good though. It really is.
It is good. It's really good. I can definitely identify with you on the fact that sometimes I'll just have a thought or have an idea and I'm like, we should definitely do it this way, you know, or this is the way that I envisioned it. And then of course, I mean, when you're with somebody else who has a different perspective, whether it's peaceful or not, you're about to know that you're not, you don't have the same idea. You don't have the same perspective, so you're just kind of forced to see another side of it. So if he does that in a gentle way, I think that's really awesome.
For sure.
Jared, what's your favorite thing about me?
That you make me laugh.
I'm funny, y'all.
Like It's so,
Nobody laughed. I'm funny.
it's like I'm funny, y'all. Crickets.
That's me. Woo, woo.
Like, oh, okay, all right, cool. Well, I thought I was.
He said I was.
But no, like it's I think it's a lot of times that I look at stuff in a serious manner, or like I've been overthinking so many different things. So it's kind of like times where I just feel like a good laugh sometimes just slows my brain down, and a lot of times you kind of give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yo, all right, like it's great to just be able to, you know, be around somebody who genuinely, because I feel like laughter is one of those things that it kind of like instantaneously can change your mood.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like being around somebody who can make you laugh, and it's like a genuine laugh, and it's like, and it's not like you're trying to make me laugh, right? You're not like sitting there like telling me like,
right, no, I'm just
50 million dad jokes,
it's just
right?
Nonsense,
right?
It's
like you're just literally talking and being yourself, and,
yeah,
and you say some funny stuff.
it's just nonsense.
So yeah, I mean, it's just it makes me feel great. Like I love laughing, and it makes me feel good when I get to laugh, and you give me those good, as Cat Williams say, from a healthy place. So yeah, I think that would be probably one of my favorite things about you. One of, I mean, I just feel like, I mean, Anthony, you just really kind of crushed everybody.
I was like, Anthony, I'm gonna break the rules because I got more than one.
I mean, I got more than one, but it's just like, first of all, he was hard headed by doing.
My bad.
He went first, and he was like, I got a list.
Right, when he got a list, he's like, so thing number 612.
Right,
but then like, then it's like he gave it up, so it's like now like you really gotta like, all right.
No, honestly, y'all, I know that my sense of humor is one of Jared's favorite qualities about me, because it's not the first time that he's told me that, and I think that makes me feel good. Like I have a decent personality, and I'm funny. But for him, I absolutely love, like I was running through my list. I got two things. Jared is super creative and super passionate about music. And he also can draw, and he can sing, and he can make beats, and he plays the drums, and he plays the piano, and he plays the organ. He does all these things, and he found this passion for music at just such a young age. And so being with him and seeing that passion just continue to grow and thrive, and he's pursuing his dreams and his career. In the beginning, I was just like a little jealous about that. Like some people are so fortunate enough to wake up and just know from a young age, like this is the thing that I want to do, and just to see that spark in him is one of like my favorite things. Also, he's super charismatic, and I love that. He can make friends anywhere.
Absolutely. I connect to you with the music thing. Absolutely.
Oh, what you do?
she's an amazing singer. Let me clarify. She is a world-class, top-notch.
See, you already said
top 10 singers.
50 million things.
Come on, man. Hype up your queen, bro.
Ashley. She spit hot fire.
Spit hot fire.
She sing hot fire.
She sing hot fire.
Yo, that's what's up. So where'd you first find your love of singing?
Oh man, like most Black folk, we started in the church.
Yep.
Your mama throw you in that choir, like you gonna sing in the choir, okay?
Right. She take you up there. You be like, man, mom, where we going? We going up to the church. Oh, what y'all doing up there? No, we ain't doing nothing.
Right.
You gonna be singing, huh?
You in that choir, go.
You like, hold on, you didn't tell me this was happening before the day.
Yeah.
Right. So that's basically where that started.
No, I feel you. That it was the same for me. It was but my mom actually bought my first drum set when I was like 2.
Awesome.
And I was like, just like, she was in the kitchen cooking, and like she had turned around, and I had pulled out like 6 pots and like some spatulas, and just started beating on stuff.
Nice.
And she was like, but after a while, she said it started making some sense. And she told my dad, she's like, yo, we're gonna buy him a drum set. My dad was like, we're gonna do him a what? She was like, yeah, we're gonna get him a drum set. He was like, I don't know about that one. So she bought the drum set, and then what drove him even more crazy was then she put the drum set in their room.
Oh,
a 2-year-old with the drum set in your bedroom.
Oh,
right. So she's like, we can monitor, you know how much you playing and stuff like that. No, you couldn't. Like at that point, when I woke up, I thought about drums. Before I went to bed, I thought about drums. During the middle of the day, I thought about drums. So in the middle of the night, when I randomly woke up, I thought about drums. So it's like, but my dad appreciated it because then I ended up playing for his church. So then he had no problems with it as I got older.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Ashley,
beautiful.
do you still sing now? You still sing in church?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I sing with my church, the praise team. I sing with a gospel group, and I sing with the all girl group. We do.
Okay.
Like
what are you? Are you alto?
I'm alto, soprano.
Okay.
Favorite song to sing?
Wherever, and whenever I get the opportunity, I'm gonna sing.
You heard that?
Don't say that.
Hold on.
Don't say that.
That's so funny. You heard Jerry. He's like, listen. He was like, this might be the opportunity. Right. Ashley, I'm not gonna do that to you. I'm not gonna do. I'm just y'all actually want to just take a moment and just say, hey guys, if you're listening on Facebook or YouTube, thank you so much. Please continue to drop those comments and those questions. Also, for my folks listening on Needle, we welcome your participation as well. I'm definitely not gonna make you sing. I'm just gonna ask just a few more questions, and then I really just want to hear about your guys' mantra of know what you need and know how to ask for it. So, two things. Anthony, I asked you this the other day and you kind of stumbled. So now I'm curious, now that you kind of marinated on it, what your answer is going to be. But what does romance mean to you?
Me, now that I've had a little bit of time to think about it, it means to give and to receive, I guess it's on both sides, just a level of excitement and peace. Like this blending of the two, right? Where you're energized and comfortable at the same time. And, it's that ability for like, to feel excitement and then also warmth and like just, it's both. It's the mixture of the two coming together and just its own unique way.
So romance is the feeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What did you say, Ashley? Romance is what?
A feeling.
The feeling is what he's saying.
A feeling. So I'm wondering, Anthony, if Ashley was to do something romantic for you, what would that perfect thing be?
What would be the perfect romantic thing, man? I was gonna have to do something with food.
Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
There we go.
Wait a minute.
There we go.
Food. I was gonna say food. That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
He said something with food.
Okay.
And she busted out the notes.
Right. Like if she, it would be super romantic. She like made my favorite meal. Just kind of had it ready. I come home from work and she just, like dinner's ready and everything's just perfect. And
okay,
just
you're easy.
That's romantic.
You're like, I got you. Ashley, what about you? What does romance mean to you?
I think romance is the showing of love in multiple ways, like however you show it, that's the romance. If you show it by buying flowers, if you show it by, washing the laundry so that, the other person doesn't have to, or, however you show love, that's what I think is romance. Period. The showing of the love. Like if I see need or I see something that you may want or would make you feel loved in that moment, and then I do that thing, or say that thing or provide that thing. Like I think that's romantic.
So quick question. I think Anthony, you said your love language was words of affirmation. Ashley, what's yours?
Quality time.
Okay. I think that's yours, Jared, right? Your number one? Yeah, that's
my number one. Yeah, y'all have my 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Nice. My 2 is physical touch.
I think that's my 2. My number 1 is
random acts of kindness.
Acts of kindness. Yeah.
2 will be physical touch.
Yeah. So if you fold the laundry and rub my back at the same time, we in there. Okay. Anyways,
Right.
Jared, what about you? What's romance mean to you?
It was funny as I was like, as you told me what this question was, like that was out of all of them, I was sitting there like, what?
I have no idea, right?
But yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is I came up with in my head, I keep coming up with this thing like these double I's, intentional intimacy, right? It's where I'm, and of course we all know that, intimacy isn't, just one thing, like it's multiple things. So it's like, the more intentional you are about showing, about being more intimate with them, like how Ashley said, whether it be through, doing certain things through your acts of kindness or whatever, right? It's just you're showing that person intent, that I want to do this. I want to be intimate with you in this way right now, which I feel is kind of romance. So yeah, the corny double I's.
No, it's not corny. It's good. Intentional intimacy.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like that too. I'm like, tonight is intentional intimacy night. So for me, honestly, romance is the thing that breaks the everyday, what's the word?
Kind of routine.
Yeah, the everyday routine.
Oh, okay.
So when Jared brings me flowers, I think that's very nice. I think it's sweet. I think it's romantic. When he says, "Oh, hey, we're gonna go out tonight," I think that's very romantic because it's not something that it's not in the routine of things that we always do. So I think, like listening to him, I feel like we can join these things together to improve our romance. Because if I'm saying it's, not your everyday and he's saying it's intentional intimacy, then it seems like actually planning those things means that we're taking a break from the things that we do every day. Go to work, be with the kids, do this, do that. You know what I mean? So I think that listening to you, Ashley, like those things, like those nice gestures, to me, they're nice and they're thoughtful, but I won't always equate them to romance because they're probably things that I appreciate, but also go into the things that we do every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I appreciate the thoughtfulness, but it's also not the spontaneity that I might need to actually say this is romantic.
Got it. That makes sense. It's the fact that it's special.
Mm-hmm. I get that. Because I think if he brought me flowers every day, it wouldn't be as special. But I would say, oh my God, I have the most thoughtful husband. He buys me flowers like twice a week. Like, you know what I mean? But if he, every once in a while brought like big bouquets I'd be like, oh my, like the last time he brought me flowers, he brought me 5 bouquets. Like to me, that was very special.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
That wasn't the last time.
This last time, he brought like 5 bouquets.
That was only 3 this time.
That was more than 3. We had to split it out into 2 vases because the big vase wouldn't fit it.
Oh, I was thinking about like 2.
Okay, thank you.
My bad.
I
was like, so like, no, you didn't my actual prompt.
Okay, I'm trying to give you your prompt.
Yeah,
You're like, it wasn't 5. Like, don't say yes.
Right.
Just the people listen.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think it was 6. You sure?
All right, I think it was 6. And now that we're sitting here talking about this, I think that the next episode, I actually might talk about romance. Because I'm really excited to hear men's perspective on romance, because I think when we think about romance, we always think about women.
That's because they all get all the romantic movies.
Hush your mouth. Do you want to watch a rom-com?
Not particularly,
exactly.
but that's because they're all the same thing. It's not catered towards men. Those aren't catered towards men.
Okay. Well, I think that action movies with love in them are catered towards men, and so you're watching an action-packed rom-com. You're welcome. Basically, thank you.
I mean, but you're always gonna have to have a love interest in an action movie.
Okay.
What's gonna get him up to go, right? Would he just wake up on go every day?
I was watching.
Don't get bored.
What was I watching? Oh no, it's not a movie I was watching. It's one of my favorite movies. It's about a hitman, and it has
all your favorite action movies. I guarantee you.
There's no love interest in this movie. I'm trying to think of the movie. It's gonna come to me, anyways.
Mhm.
Kayla on Facebook said you better take credit for those 5.
Okay.
Take it.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Kayla Joe.
Okay, you better take credit from that 5. Okay, last question. I don't know. Okay, what is the most challenging thing about a relationship?
About a relationship?
Your relationship? I think your answer will probably be the same for different types of relationships, because I know even with the answer that I have, I think about my relationship with my children as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I just put a relationship. But your relationship, your marriage.
Okay, the most challenging.
Or one of, if you got 2, go ahead and use Anthony's.
I'm sticking to one this time. Y'all gave me that heat, so I'm just gonna do one. Promise.
Do you have yours? You can share first.
I do. Yeah, it's having different perspectives. Just because with everything, every decision, every choice, everything is predicated on it. Well, she has her perspective, I have my perspective, and so we always gotta kind of find out what that is, and then meet in the middle of that. And when I'm single, it's like, man, this is a good idea to eat some ice cream for breakfast. I ain't got nobody saying no, so we can move forward with this very good decision. But my wife would contradict that. So, just having a different perspective and always having to negotiate that.
I guess I would say the most challenging thing in a relationship is maintaining self. I think is what I'm finding to be pretty challenging. Is you of course you want to make your partner feel loved and all of this and accepted and valued, of course, and with that comes some work. Sometimes you have to be very mindful and, like you said, intentional, which takes a lot of brain space, right? And the need to do that for yourself as well without letting the relationship lag. I think that balance, it can be challenging, because it's like, what if what you want at this moment goes against what I need for myself at this moment, and being able to balance that. And that goes into, our motto, know what you need or what you want and know how to ask for it. Like, if I need some time to myself, I need to find a way to effectively communicate that in a way that doesn't hurt him, right? It's not about you. I'm not trying to tell you that I need a break from you, specifically, but I just need myself, and finding that balance can be challenging.
I felt what you said, Ashley, so deeply, because right now, as I'm navigating through this, trying to be a better person, I'm in therapy now, just learning things about myself, how to be a better mother, a better wife. I find that we've come to, we had a conversation the other day where I kind of want to go back home, and Jared likes it in California. And that was a tough conversation, and just being like, it has absolutely nothing to do with you, or me not wanting to be with you, me not, valuing our relationship, me not valuing our marriage, because I do all of those things. It's me really just literally feeling homesick, and that this adjustment period of almost 4 years now has just been kind of rough.
Yeah.
And so I felt that so much. It's like, how do you go after what you want and do, what you want to do, and also still be connected to the other person, and still, just what I was saying on the negotiation and the, was it negotiation and sacrifice? compromise episode. I think, Anthony, you were talking about going away for some time and making money, or I forgot what you said, but you were like, I just decided not to do that thing.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be the best thing for your marriage, Yeah. And so, and then hearing Ashley say, huh?
Yeah, you keep taking those L's for your relationship.
Ashley, hearing you say, hey, if that ever arises again and you need to do that or you want to do that, I'll go along with you. And I think that was really beautiful to hear you say that. It was beautiful for him to feel like sorry, Anthony. It was really beautiful for me to hear you say that you were willing to give that up for your relationship. And it was beautiful for her to say, Ashley, for you to say that he didn't necessarily have to if it arose again, because there's so many times where you're like, I want this thing, but is it the thing that's going to just be a moment of adversity in our relationship? And nobody walks into adversity like, this is adversity. You know what I mean? Like, usually we're going after something and then adversity comes and then we just decide to push through it. And so I think in my revelation, I was very aware that this is about to cause some trouble. And not only is it trouble, but it's like, how do you even compromise that? You know what I mean? How do you?
Yeah. When what you need is opposite of what they need. Like, who takes the L?
Yeah.
And some things you don't compromise on. I think in the episode we talked about getting a mortgage. Once we signed that paper, like I wanted to rent, she wanted to buy, that type of stuff. You just can't. Somebody got to give.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it's you got to come to those spaces.
Yeah. Jared, what's the most challenging thing about a relationship?
Honest communication. Like, I feel like people in open communication, right? Like, I feel like what happens in relationships is like we're trying so hard to like prove a point in conversations.
Yeah.
And when we get to that point, now also what happens when you're trying, like I noticed, like when you talk trying to prove a point, right, you automatically become defensive when the other person doesn't agree, right? Like that, like oh well, I'm trying to prove this point. I'm saying this, I'm saying that, right? And then as soon as they say, well, I feel like this, well, what do you mean? And like now you get all hype or whatever, right? And it's like, okay, well now this isn't even a conversation anymore because now you've turned it into a debate. So it's like through like honest communication, like there should come a common ground of understanding, right? And I feel like it's hard sometimes because people really don't go into conversations trying to be honest, but also honestly understand where the other person is going to come from during that conversation.
Right. They're thinking about the next thing they want to say rather than what the person is telling them.
Yeah. Right. And I know like for me over the last, I would say probably, I mean, especially like over the quarantine, like I just been kind of evaluating myself and the way I communicate with people and things of that nature. And I just noticed that I've caught myself a lot thinking in my head, and then I'd be like, stop, listen to what they're saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And because it's like, it's a lot of times that like sometimes they'll say something and I'll be like, yo, I ain't like how they said that, but let me stop and let them finish, because maybe they'll bring it back around to where now I'm not going to feel a certain type of way about whatever it was they just said. And it's just that honest communication, that open communication, I feel like it's hard for people because after a while, especially when you've been with somebody for a long time, then you expect for them to kind of read your mind. Mm-hmm. You expect them to just know what you're kind of thinking or how you feel about something. Or you don't update the communication, right? Mm-hmm. Like we talk to each other the same way we did like 7 years ago instead of the way we are right now. And so it's just like that open and honest communication, I just feel like just gets really hard. But I feel like once you get a good handle on, okay, I'm gonna understand this person when they're talking, they're trying to understand me when we're talking. Once you get to that kind of sweet spot, I feel like the relationship genuinely does go easier, because then it's easier to voice frustrations, because now you're not saying it from a certain type of place, and that person's not taking it as an attack or anything like that. They're just taking it as open dialogue on how to make the relationship better.
Right.
Yeah. When Jared said updated communication, I felt that because we've been together almost a decade. We definitely communicate a lot better than we did. But we are still like making some tweaks. Like his thing is like, you just gonna cut me off until we die, huh? Because I'm like, I already know what you're about to say. You about to say some nonsense. Let me stop you right there.
Until we die.
And he's giving me my credit though. Like I've gotten better at like intentionally being like, I'm gonna let him finish this thought. You know what I mean? Because I know him. There has been times that because I know him, I've cut him off. He told me not to cut him off, and that he said exactly the thing that he was about to say, that I knew he was about to say. But then there's times where he surprised me. So I've gotten a lot better at like cutting him off, and that's definitely helped our relationship. No, it doesn't. I was just saying my thought process. I'm sorry. Kayla on Facebook said knowing how the person communicates, because it can be different than yours. That's true. Me and Jared we're different in a way. Okay, this is one way I know we're different that we communicate. I'm a details person. Like, I want to know this, and then how I need to update on that, and I need to know how that happened, and I need to know, like, if we talked about this before, then come back and give me, because I do the same thing to him. I just don't think he notices. Like, if I would be like, okay, I'm gonna make the kids a dentist appointment, you know, I might follow up and be like, you know, I had a hard time finding a dentist, and I'm just talking, like, I had a hard time finding a dentist and this and that, and then I might come back and be, okay, well, I finally got an appointment, blah, 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 versus him, he might be like, I'm gonna make the kids a dentist appointment, and he doesn't do any of the filling in. He might just be like, appointment made. And like, so add that to any other part of our relationship, and I realize that that's how we're different. I like all the details and all the, you know, check-ins and things like that. And sometimes he's like, here's the meat and potatoes, this what's going on, like, what's up? And so like one time we were talking, I was like, well, I need the updates, like I need to know. And he paused, and I saw him kind of realize, like, okay, he just called it micromanaging just now, but he didn't say that before. Anyways, why are you not saying nothing? Like,
I was letting you talk. I was letting you finish.
Whatever. Kenny on YouTube said the finance conversations definitely require open and honest communication. It's surprising how many people don't start this dialogue prior to walking down the aisle. Kenny, I need you to stop yelling at us right now. Like, don't talk to us like that.
But yo, that's real. That's real. Like, just what y'all got, where you want to go, how much, like, all that. That's
I think
that's a good way to.
We talk about communication styles. I think money habits or spending habits, I think that's a totally different, like that's a whole other episode. Because I was just raised in a certain type of way. I was just raised a certain type of way. I literally came across this poem about poverty, running away from poverty on Instagram the other day. And she was just saying how she was like, I saw poverty for the first time in school, looking out a window at a corner store with bulletproof glass, and how she just made the decision to that she was just gonna run away from poverty, and how she just would save her money. She didn't buy name brand things, and how even when she like started making more money, people would be like, oh, treat yourself, you know, and buy yourself a nice bag. And she still was just like, no, I'm not gonna do that because I'm still running away from poverty. I connected with that poem so much. Me and Jared have very different upbringings. And so we see money just a little bit differently. Like we're on the same page now. Like we have a budget and things like that. But even there's still times where we have conversations, you can just see that we're visualizing these purchases or the importance of these purchases on two different levels. So, but that literally, what you say, Ashley?
Same here.
Yeah. So that literally could be like a whole nother conversation.
Absolutely.
So we're not going to take up our time with that right now. Okay. Thank you, Kenny, for your comment. That was really good.
And that's a whole nother hour.
That's okay. We're going to be like, what y'all doing tonight? Because today is Black Love Money edition as well.
Let's talk about money.
We're talking about money. I love how when I was talking to Anthony the other night, the mantra, and I'm calling it a mantra, I don't know what you guys call it, but know what you need and know how to ask for it. Like, where did that come from in y'all's relationship?
I heard it in a movie just randomly. The protagonist was going to therapy, and she didn't want to go, and she was fighting against it. And the therapist was just kind of being really patient with her. And she said, you know what? I feel like I don't really need this. Can you just give me some general advice? Like, generally speaking, what do people generally need from a therapist? And he said that. And it's one of them dumb movies, but that line stuck to me. And it has helped me in every walk of life. It's helped me in relationships. It's helped me in my professional life. It has helped me with my friends, with my family. Like, just really being your own advocate and knowing yourself so much that you know what you need. And it sounds simple, but when you really talk to people, like they don't know what it is they want, or what they know how they feel. Mm-hmm. They know sometimes they know that what you're doing or saying they don't like, but it's, rather than fight or argue the situation or how you're feeling, just get to the meat of it. What is it that you need? Yeah. What is it that you want? And know how to ask for that.
And I want to add to that, because around the same time you had watched that movie and brought that saying, I discovered this book called Nonviolent Communication by Dr. Marshall Rosenberg. And basically that phrase is like a summation of his whole thesis, but it was rooted in this idea of speaking the language of needs and understanding that we are all, as humans, have these very specific, very universal needs that need to be addressed. And once we can get down into that, past all of the, the noise and the chaos, like if we can get to people's needs and be curious about what other people need, and also be aware of what we need and speak to that, then, we can speak without violence. We can speak in peace. We can speak constructively. So it was like the conjunction of those two, like you getting that from that movie and me like studying Marshall Rosenberg's work. It really like rooted, like became like the roots of our relationship for sure.
There's no doubt in my mind that asking for what you need is a simple task. Like when I had Lauren, who is a licensed social worker on the show, she was literally talking about how just you'll ask somebody, well, what do you want? What do you need? And you will watch them kind of struggle to form the words. Even I asked what my therapist asked me. She not only did she ask me, what do I want to get out of therapy, and of course I had a couple answers for that, but she was like, well, what is a perfect day for you like? And right now I still don't have a clear answer, and her goal is that maybe if I can tell her what a perfect day for me looks like, then we can kind of figure out what it is I need, what it is I want, and what you said about, how you feel and how we all said sometimes, because sometimes that initial feeling is not the feeling, right? Like that, or the feeling that we display. Yes. That feeling that we display is sometimes not the feeling, like sometimes we're angry and we're displaying anger, but we're really embarrassed, Or like sometimes like at work, sometimes I feel, I might feel sad, but sometimes the root of that is feeling kind of lonely and not feeling like a connection. But I'm not about to walk around going, I need a connection, because that just didn't seem very authentic to me, and that's not how I made relationships in the past. But yeah, that what do you need is, so how do y'all like talk through that? Like, do you have any tips for how are you getting to that if it's so challenging? Because we've already said it's challenging. How are you getting to the meat and the potatoes?
For sure. One thing that we like to do regularly is check in with each other. We use the term love tank. You know, how's your love tank doing? You know, are you almost at empty? Are you almost at full? You know, halfway? Like, how do you feel loved right now? Are you full? You know, and then it's like, well, what would make you full? You know, do you need me to sit down and listen to a story? Do you need me to give you my undivided attention? Do you need an act of service? Is there something that I can go get for you? Is there a gift you may want? You know, like how can I, you know, help fill this tank of yours? And even if it's not something that I can do, how can I help you get what it is that you need? And we do that check, and it's more, or I'll even say it's half and half for the one who's asking and the one who's being asked, because then it forces you to check in with yourself as well. Like, well, you know, what do I need? Where is my tank? How am I feeling? Because, you know, we can focus, you know, you guys are parents, you can focus on your kids, you can focus on your work, you can focus on, you know, your extracurriculars and how you get back to the community or whatever it is that you're doing. And you forget to, you know, look in like, oh, I've been expelling so much energy. I've been giving and giving and loving and loving. Well, how do I feel? Where's my tank? And, you know, to piggyback off of what you guys were saying, you know, you don't always know how you feel. But when you take that time to check in, it forces you to really focus. And being in a marriage, there's the trust there that my spouse loves me, right? My spouse is going to do what they can to help me feel full. Right. There's that trust. And I believe that about you. Like, if I came to you, if I was able to articulate exactly what I needed from you, you'd be like, man, you made it so easy.
Right.
Cool. I can do that.
I can do that.
Right? You know, I can let me love on you in that way rather than, I don't know, I just know I'm mad. And then now they're frustrated. Like, I want to give you what it is you need, but can you please just tell me? You know, it's that. And it helps, you know, the one who's asking, because it's like, I want to give this to you so badly. And then it helps the one who's being asked, because like, okay, let me really tune in to myself here.
Yeah.
Do you guys, when you do those check-ins, like, is it just one person or is it's like, or just both?
Yeah.
Both. So
like Anthony may think of it first, you know, like, hey, haven't asked you in a while. How's your love tank? Okay. And then, you know, I'll give an answer and it's like, okay, cool, I can do that. And I'll ask him like right back, like, well, how's yours then?
Ashley, you said you like one of the most challenging things is, you know, struggling with self. Like, what is one thing that you feel like you need in order to maintain your sense of identity or independence?
I need to maintain my connections with other people. That's one particular thing that I know that I need. I need friendships outside of my marriage. You know, I need to see my girls. I need to hang out with them. I need to have meaningful connections with my sister. I need to be able to travel, you know, with my best friend. I need to be able to, you know, let's go to the mall and, you know, everything that I do doesn't involve Anthony, and everything Anthony does doesn't involve me. And I need him to have that as well. Like, I need you to have your friends. I need you to have the things that you like that have nothing to do with me. So you go do that and I'll go do this. I'll see you later and we can talk about it.
Once again, I identify with that so much. When we did marriage counseling before we got married, one of my non-negotiables was that I needed to maintain outside relationships.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I identify with that so much.
Yeah.
And I know some marriages are not that way. You know, they want to be up under each other all the time, and that works for them. That
the two people agree to. That's what matters most.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just about to say, I'm glad you're saying that's what works for them, because marriage is not this one size fits
It's all so
all.
different.
Yeah, everybody
No,
has
it's not.
different things.
It's not. And we really have to normalize the fact that people have different agreements.
Right.
And not to, demonize it. Like
Yeah.
that works for them.
Yeah.
If they have separate bank accounts and they don't share their money, that works for them. If they don't live together. I have a friend who doesn't live with her husband. That works for them. And I'm not going to look at it like, wouldn't be me. That's
there's just an agreement requires, and it kind of speaks to it too, an agreement between two people requires both people coming to the table knowing what they want to get out of it.
Okay.
And so if we are coming to the table in our relationship to build a life that is well lived, a life that we love, we got to know what we need. And I think that's that first part of the motto, of the mantra, as you call it, is so big. Like, know what you need. Because Ashley could spend so much time and energy and effort trying to give me something that I could do the work and then express to her. And like she said, she would more readily be able to fulfill it if she just knew.
Right.
And that's where, to Jared's point, your point, like every relationship is different. Everyone, how they fulfill, even though we all have the same needs, how those needs get fulfilled is going to be different for everyone. And that is the dance, that is the flow, like how, and it changes over time, even with the same two people. So it's just, that's the work. Like, how do we, figure out the needs and how do we get them fulfilled?
So look, let me ask y'all this. Well, when y'all took your did y'all take the love language quiz, like to figure out what it was or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had read the book before we met each other.
Yeah.
So that was one of the conversations that we had while we were dating. It was like, oh, you read that book? Yeah, I read it. You read? Okay, well, what's your love language? So that was just one of the talking points that we.
Because it's funny because we discovered that after we were together. So it was like, it was, I think we've been together for almost a half a year, almost a year before you found that book. And it was just like, and it was like, I just thought about all of the times where it was like, we literally were trying to ask for something and we had no idea what we were really asking for. Right. Or it was, so many times where it was like, I was thinking she wanted this when, I did something like this last time and you kind of liked it or you liked it or whatever. So I did something like that again. But then once time you hate it. Right. And this time you hate it. Like, why? Right. But I just realized like, that's not her love language. So it's like, so I think that's why I asked, like, did y'all already know it going in or did y'all find it out after y'all were already together? Because that was an interesting answer for me.
And mine being quality time, Anthony, that's not one of his at all.
Nope.
So
that was my next question.
Right, like he's like, I can be in the same space with you and not talk to you and feel cool. I can, you can give me some nice words and I'm good for a week, like I don't need to have some quality time with you. And I'm like, no, like, bro, I need that, right? Like, I need that to connect to you. Yeah. So what we decided was, go ahead, dive into your work, dive into your writing throughout the week, do what you need to do. But Friday is my day to have quality time with you. That is our day. So we set in stone. Friday is date night.
Right.
If we need to move it around, cool. Maybe it's Thursday night this week or Saturday, but it is a night this week where I get this, quality time. You sitting down, you're looking at me, we're whatever, laughing, eating. Right. Like I need that, and he's good about giving me that. But I had to get to the point where it's like, well, what is enough quality time?
Okay.
What would be enough? Because I can't expect it every day. Right. I can't pull him from his work. I can't pull him from his creative time. Yeah. So what would be enough for me to still feel full? And I came, okay, once a week. Now I can ask him, can I have one night a week where you are all mine?
And I want to speak to the second half of the, how to ask for it. And it's so important to use kind and considerate language, right? It's not making a demand for what we need. It's making a request.
Right.
And really the difference being how the person making that feels once it's expressed. Because if I have a need and I make a request for it, then even if it's not fulfilled, I'm okay with that. I'm not offended by it, versus a demand. If it's not fulfilled, then it's like, oh, I feel some kind of way. Because there's certain things that we just can't meet, right? Like date night's one of those things. Or let's say we do have a Friday night and I'm on like my call. Like I got a meeting every Friday at work now that, it's just a project. So it's not a full-time thing, but sometimes they go longer, and her request may not be met, but as long as she can understand that, oh, this is circumstantial. Oh, this is part of, just something that it has to be done temporarily. Then she can ask, well, can we move it to Saturday? Can we move it to Sunday? It puts us in a different mind frame when we're coming. Once we understand the need and we come to our partner with requests instead of demands, it puts us in a mind frame where we're like, I know that this person isn't going to be harmful to me. Like I know that. And so I want to not, I don't want to be demanding of them. I want to be appreciative of them and just make my request known and trust that they're gonna fulfill it to the best of their ability. And if because it doesn't come the way that I think it should come or that I would expect it to, I'm okay with that because I trust, right? It's just, this is what I need. That's
a part of it. Like knowing what you need and knowing how to ask for it doesn't mean you always get it.
Right.
And
absolutely.
you have to be okay with that in a way. And in a marriage, however, and we talk about this too, like he'll even ask, like, is that an inner circle thing? He'll check in with me, like, you're asking me for this, but is that inner circle? Like, is that really important? Is this like a make it happen and no excuses type of thing? Or do I have some leeway here? Right. And, there are levels to that as well. Like, it may not be an inner circle. Like, no, I would like it, but it's okay if I don't get it. Maybe I'll try again next month or what have you. But then some things are like, no, like,
I really need this.
I need you to do this. And if it doesn't happen, it's not going to end well for you. So
Wait. It's not gonna be good, Chuck.
It's not looking too pretty.
It ain't gonna be good. I'm gonna have an attitude. It's gonna be.
I'm going to have an attitude, not the preparation.
Just be ready,
right?
For the fact that there will be an attitude proceeding.
I will have an attitude
for the next few days.
Don't even bother.
All of this talking and understanding is cool, but push come to shove.
That's so real.
You need to make it happen.
Thank you. That's real.
So in those moments when y'all are upset with each other, right, and y'all are having these points of contention because of the things that didn't happen that needed to happen. Right. What do you feel is okay? Like I've been upset now for 2 days, right? And now we got to talk about this. What are ways that y'all start that conversation after we've had this spat for a little bit now, and now we're ready to come back together and let's really hammer this out.
You want me to go first?
Give a thought. Go ahead.
So I know that I'm more emotional than Anthony is. Anthony is way more, he's in his head. He figures things out, and I'm like, I feel this way, and I'm more emotional, and I know that I work in that space. So before I approach him, I have to get my emotions in check and be very specific about what I'm going to say so that he can hear me. because he's not going to hear a bunch of feeling things like, oh, I feel, and oh, this, and oh, you know, he needs to hear some solid, you know, requests or solid things that's going on. So first I have to do the work with myself. Like, I know that I'm upset. I know that I need X, Y, and Z. Let me sit down. Let me calm down. Let me figure out a way to communicate this to him in a way that doesn't sound like an attack, because I feel I'm in an attack space right now, you know, and I need to like calm down. So that's what I do, where I'm more focused on what the outcome is that I need, or that I want, or that he needs, right? Mm-hmm. So it could be a good example. We had a few deaths in the family in this past 2020. And I really I was all over the place emotionally, and things that he was doing was just ticking me off, right? And I was just irritated. But, you know, I was dealing with these things, and he was, you know, offering, you know, what he thought that I needed, you know, hanging around, and, oh, let's do this. Let's go for a walk. Let's try this. Did you read the, you know, like just different that he was doing. And it was just ticking me off even more. And I had to like calm down. Okay, Ash, you're feeling a certain way. Get past that. What is it that he's doing that's irritating you or bothering you? What do you need him to stop doing, or what do you need him to do? Because you know his heart is in the right place. He's trying, right? And you with these little arguments or this little attitude is not helping. So just sitting down with it, and then I was able to come to him. It's like, okay, babe, I really need to tell you something. Is this a good time? And I think that's important, because you can't just unload on someone.
Right.
Right. Like, is this a good time? Because I need to express something to you. And then, you know, at that time he was open to it. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. And it's like, when I am grieving or overwhelmed or anxious, I retreat, and I need that space. When you are around and you keep checking on me, or you keep bringing me things, or keep asking me to read this, or come out of the space that I'm in, you're trying to pull me out of it. That is not helping me. What I need to do is sit in this and figure it out for myself. And then if I need something from you, I need you to trust that I will ask you, because you asking me is not helping. Is that something you can do? You know, and it's like, that's something he can receive, you know, rather than me just, oh my God, can you, you know, like,
please stop bringing me things. I don't need it.
You know, it just, Ash, like, figure out how to communicate this, because you're failing right now at communicating to him,
right?
You know, and really taking that look at myself. So that's for sure one way that I know I have to do it. Like, I'm tripping. I know it's me. Let me calm down and figure out how to communicate.
I'm reading The Power of a Praying Wife, and she literally just kind of starts off the book about how she would, you know, initially make requests. I'm reading the book, and she doesn't read as a very demanding woman anyway. So I don't think she was making demands, but she did say that at some point she felt like she was being like naggy. And so she started praying about a particular topic, and she would just pray about it and pray about it and pray about it until she felt that she, you know, that God gave her like a message of how to get the words through. And then she would approach him about it. And she found that they started having much more peaceful and open conversations. Like, she felt like he was more receptive than, I guess, her nagging, because who likes a nag anyway? But so the fact that you're saying like you just had to sit with it, and, you know,
that
I definitely understand
important, because you're processing as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're talking to God, and as you're talking to him, you're processing. You're hearing yourself and what you're saying, It's like, you know, and then of course, you know, divine intervention and him talking back it helps for sure.
Yeah.
Anthony, you said you had a way on coming together after a spat.
I mean, Ashley's answer was very, very good. It was very thorough. I want to put emphasis on just that point of, hey, can we talk about this? Talking about talking is important. Like talking about, you know, this has been bothering me for a couple of days. I want to talk about it. Can we set time aside to talk about it?
Yeah.
Being able to recognize, okay, what I'm experiencing, I don't want to feel it no more. Can we talk about this? Can we bring this to the table? When is a good time for you to talk about it? Being able to find that space. And then even with that, you know, like, hey, I've noticed that when we bring up this topic, you know, it brings this up in you, you know, and that makes it harder for me to have this conversation. So even having a pre-conversation about the conversation.
Right.
But it's like,
we need to have this talk.
Money was a good
prepare one. Yourself.
Right.
Prepare yourself.
You brought up like the financial part, and that was something that, you know, we had a conversation about the conversation. Like, I noticed that whenever we talk about money, you know, you get a little more defensive, you get a little anxious. Like, let's talk about even that, so that when it's not just us going into the conversation about money, I'm saying one thing, she's getting irritated, I'm now irritated, and now we having this, you know, this argument where it's like, no, I noticed this. You know, I noticed this comes up.
Right.
Let's talk about talking about money.
Let's talk about talking about
the pre-conversation before the conversation.
Right. Let's have a conversation about why this conversation brings this up. Like, that's a big part of it too. And so sometimes it's just identifying that, and you know, it's trusting that. And this is something I'm learning because I'm a problem solver and I want to fix things. I trust that if my wife needs time, that because I trust myself for that. Like, oh, I need some time, I need space. But now I also have to trust her. Like, she says she needs space. Guess what? She needs space. Just give it to her. Yeah. Don't have to figure it out. If it's 24 hours, if it's 72 hours, it doesn't matter. Like, give her that time to do what she needs to do. Yeah. And don't try and, you know, pressure. And she does a great job of that. Like, she does a great job with it. If I ever come to Ashley, I'm like, I just need, you know, I just need some time. Yeah. That's it. Like, no more. And, you know, I brought this to her attention once. It was something I was reading about. And really what happens it happens more so with, from what I was reading, it was, I think, Psychology Today. They're saying women, they nag as a protection of their emotions, right? Because if they're feeling overwhelmed, if they're getting to a place where they feel they can't take anymore, they nag in order to, you know, protect themselves from getting overwhelmed. Yeah. And so the counter to that then is, you know, or the part of that is important to know as a man in the relationship is that there's something that I need to be doing. There's some behavior that needs to start happening in order for her
to stop nagging me.
And so, right. So then there's that curiosity, right? There's that curiosity, not that judgment, not the criticism. It's just curiosity. Like, what do I need?
What can I do?
What can I do
to stop you?
How do you
What do I need to do for you to leave me alone?
Right. Okay, let me do that thing. It's
fellas, help yourself.
And you know, Jerry, you're saying, like, how do I approach it? It's like, okay, she's coming at me because there's something that I can be doing, or at least she believes I can be doing that I'm not.
Okay.
What is that? You know, asking myself those questions, being curious about, you know, what's going on. And yeah, just it approach that the conversation is different then, right? When I come into a conversation with curiosity, it's different than coming into a conversation with defense. So,
that's a good one. I want to touch on the fact that you both brought up just trust, like just trusting in the fact that I'm going to tell you what I need and I'm going to come out of, or in your case, Ashley, you know, just your grieving and just needing a moment to process. And I think because we do, you know, love each other so much, our initial reaction is to try to help. You know, you're like, well, what can I do? And, you know, how can I, because Ashley, I'm almost certain that when you're in that space, you're not the person who he's used to interacting with on a normal basis. You know, I think for me, it almost becomes selfish. It's almost like, what can I do to bring you back to me? Because
this is not it.
Yeah, I miss you laughing. I miss you, you know, sitting next to me. I miss you, you know, and I think that stating the trust, because I mean, what people always say, the foundation of a relationship is trust, but I know that we think about like being honest and we think about being monogamous, but in this case, it's emotional. It's emotional safety of saying, I'm gonna be okay. I just need a moment. And you have to trust that I'm going to come out of this, because I'm pretty sure there's probably people who witnessed their partners slide into depressions or slide into things that they did not come out of or didn't come out so easily. And they probably wonder, you know, well, what could I have done? Yeah. So I think for me, that perspective of just saying, tell me what you need, and then not only you trusting that I'm going to give you the space, but me trusting that this is actually what you need and you will come back to me in your own time.
Right.
That was just a whole word for me.
That is.
I'm like snapping. Can y'all hear my snaps?
I hear.
We hear.
Oh man, I love you guys. This has been great. This has been so good.
I
wanted to just add a point about the coming out of the spats. Esther, I don't know how to say her last name. It's like Perel. She's a therapist, and she also has a podcast, like Where Should We Begin? And she always says that you shouldn't turn away from like those moments of like reconnection. Mm-hmm. Like, let's say you have like an argument and your partner comes and, you know, tries to give you a hug or tries to start a conversation, or and you just kind of shut them down. She said that's what makes
Are you there? Hello? Uh-oh.
Lost them. No.
Just one moment. She'll probably come right back. All right, guys, something happened to Andrea's internet, so I think she'll be right back. They're checking now, but we may just.
Hey, Jasiri, it was hard I couldn't pick you up either. It was going in and out.
Their internet went out. Can you hear me better now?
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're
Yeah, we
checking
hear
right
you.
now, and then they'll log back on. I think you guys were closing out too anyway, but let me just check in with
Yeah.
her and see what her ETA is. You'll just hang tight. I appreciate you.
Okay. Will do. Thanks. Hey, Andrea. Oh, okay.
You have your phone? Did she text you?
This is my phone.
She said she texted you.
Hey. So we're just
So yeah, just being able to communicate what you need is important.
yeah.
I don't think we have a whole lot of spats
We don't.
where it's just like where they last for days. Not really. I like to squash things right away.
You do. You like to keep things.
And I have to check in with you often because I know you're like, look, I'm feeling flooded. I'm overwhelmed. I need to table this for a minute. And thank you for saying that I'm good at doing that.
Yeah.
Because I want you to know that on the inside, I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this right now.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? But he was clear about what he needed. So let me again trust that, he'll come back to it so that we can navigate through this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I feel like there's so much. We were talking about this earlier today about how we need to treat our spouse with grace.
Mm-hmm.
How we need to be very, very accepting of what they present to us, whatever behavior we see, just being able to see it through the eyes as if we were looking at a small child, just being able to go, all right, okay, something's there.
Yeah, because if a child cries, you don't take it personally.
Right.
You're not offended by the child's cry.
Right.
You extend grace, like, oh, well, this child must be hungry or cold or need a diaper change, whatever the case may be. And we're not saying that you should treat your spouse like a child, but that you should extend the same grace.
Level of grace and kindness.
Yeah.
And curiosity, I think, is the biggest one for me. Is just like, okay,
what's going on?
Something's going on here, right?
And not to take it offensively or personally, right? Like, you're angry. It has nothing to do with me.
Right.
And I shouldn't be angry because you're
angry.
right?
So now we both angry.
I'm mad at you for being mad, right? Instead, like you said, be curious. Like, okay,
yeah.
Why? Thank you, Andrea or Andrea.
Hey, Andrea. Yeah,
Spouses deserve grace. Absolutely. You have to. We even said this, like it's like a bowl, right? And
this was beautiful. I love it.
When you do something that I don't necessarily like, it's like putting water or whatever in that bowl.
Right.
But it's my job to empty it, to pour it out, to give you more space because I don't expect you to be perfect.
Oh, wow.
Right? So you're pouring into this bowl, but I'm dumping it out.
Yeah.
But still offering you this empty bowl.
Exactly.
Right? That's the grace. That's
you're
going to mess up. You're going to say something I don't like. You're going to think something is a joke and I take it the wrong way. Yeah. But you know what? Let me just dump that out. That's cool.
Right.
You know, so definitely that.
That's beautiful. I think that emptying out the bowl regularly also decreases the chance of resentment in a relationship.
Whoa,
Absolutely.
Big one. Thank you for saying that word. Resentment. It's hard to come back from that.
Yeah.
It's hard. Once you hit resentment, oof.
Oh,
that was it. It just got silent. Like that's it.
That's it. Yeah. Once
you get resentment, nothing. That's it.
That's it.
Right. Everybody just sitting here like, man.
It's really the only.
We're waiting for the words. Your own words. It's hard.
Right.
It's hard. Man, I appreciate you guys so much. This has been so fun, so awesome. I know you guys have only been married for 2 years, but I don't mean to say only because that is an accomplishment. And I feel like I'm just going to use some of you guys' words, some of the curiosity and empathy and understanding and trust that you have for each other lets me know that you guys are in for many, many more years of, happy, productive marriage. So I'm super grateful for y'all in this conversation. Woo!
Thank you. I'm glad we had the chance to talk and to connect for sure.
For sure.
I need connection.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I need it. I just want to recap, guys. If you're just now tuning in or you've just been listening to us, know what you need and know how to ask for it. I think the thing that I'm going to take away from this is kind of exploring my own mind and actually figuring out what it is I need before I even present a reaction to my emotions, doing my little self-exploration, and understanding like I might be displaying anger, but what really is it? And then the second part of, like you guys said, is making it a request and not a demand. I think that really stuck with me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
When y'all said that, I immediately thought to myself, but when y'all went down, when y'all kept talking, I was just like, I'm just gonna hold on to this question because they're giving some good stuff right here.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about making a request and not a demand, what are some things that you can give people of good ways of starting to ask a request or tips on requesting instead of making demands?
The first thing is just it's learning what the needs are, like actually learning the vocabulary of needs.
Yeah.
And it's different than the vocabulary of wants. So like Maslow's hierarchy of needs is probably one of the most recognizable, like that pyramid where you see, I need food, water, air, I need shelter, I need safety, security, self-actualization. Because once you learn that language, once you learn that vocabulary, then you can apply it to, the request itself. Just kind of like making up and imagining an example, right? Let's say I come home from work and it was a hectic day, it's just, hey, I need peace and I didn't get it in the last 8 hours. And so, Ashley, can you give me 15 minutes to just decompress because I need peace? In all
honesty, what we actually do is we started with, hey, I have an ask.
Yeah.
More times than not.
That's true.
That's what we'll do.
That's good.
And it's really light it's like, I haven't asked. I'm not, and that definitely cuts down on whether it's a demand, because you're literally saying I haven't asked. Like, I'm just asking.
Right. Like I'm gonna ask you something.
Right.
It's a question.
So,
it's a question.
Yeah. Right. So that's generally what we do. Like, hey, babe, I haven't asked. And automatically, there's no defense up. There's no, oh Lord, here, what you got to say. It's just like, okay, what's up?
Right.
When you walk in the house, would you mind, saying hello, or whatever the case may be,
Right.
saying hello before you go upstairs and da 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 da. And it's like, yeah, sure, I can do that. Or even I would even say it's better to just say not what you don't want them to do, but what you want them to do. Which one? So absolutely. I haven't asked, when you come home, can you give me a kiss? Yeah. Because I like kisses, or something like that.
Yeah. I think that's cute. That keeps it light and
yeah, very light. Just hey.
Yeah.
Hey you.
Hey you.
Hey, I just got to ask you something real quick.
Also, I think the thing that it's a question means that you that if they answer it a certain way, like you guys were talking about, like, I'm not gonna get mad or feel a certain type of way, because at the end of the day, it is a question, unless it's one of those what did you say? One of those inner circle things that you need done right now.
Right.
Like you're like, no, I need you to give me a kiss when you come in the house.
Right. Like, this is inner circle for me.
Okay, inner circle. Just non-negotiable. I love it. Yeah. Thank you. Guys, as we're wrapping up tonight's show, which has been so lovely, please, if you have any questions or comments, please go ahead and drop them in the chat box. We appreciate you. I think after this conversation, I think I actually might talk about romance next week, to be decided, or finances, because either way, it's going to be a full episode.
Right. Those are big topics.
Those are big topics. So I appreciate you guys again. If you want to just tell everyone about your podcast again and where they can find it.
Yeah, so A&A on Life, it is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can find it on our website, 128media.com, one28media.com. And if you follow me on Instagram, I post sound bites from the podcast, and so you can get a little snippet of it. I'm on Instagram at Mr. Anthony Chiles. So please connect with me. Please check it out. Hopefully you'll get something from it.
I'm almost certain anybody that listens will get something from it. I just want to say thank you guys one more time. I definitely am leaving this conversation taking something with me. This has been so fun. This is the first time I've had Jared on the show, but I'm feeling like maybe he should be a regular. What do y'all think?
Oh, nice. You guys have a great dynamic.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I didn't ask this question. So I asked, what's the favorite thing that you like about that we like about each other, but I didn't ask what's your favorite thing about your relationship. And mine is that me and Jared have such a good time all the time.
Nice.
And I think that that's probably because we are, pretty funny people. And like I said, he's so charismatic, but we just have a good time all the time.
Can we just steal that one?
Yeah.
Just steal that one, because
we're always laughing.
We're always out.
Yeah.
And
it feels good when you got somebody who literally you can roll over to in the morning and say something funny with stank breath, and y'all laugh at each other with stank breath. Like I just find that amazing that what I'm saying, in the morning I can laugh, and it's
right.
And that's how my day starts.
Yeah.
Y'all,
life is hard, so I think that the fact that we have the relationship that we do have, just having a good time, along with, I think, the grace that we need to be extending to each other, lets me know that I have somebody who's going to make this life just a little bit more easier. You know what I mean? And it's going to be a hell of a ride.
For sure.
So yeah. You want to say anything?
Thank you for coming.
That's
I'll
Thank
be
you
here all
for
week.
allowing us to be here. We had a great time, guys.
Of
Absolutely.
course. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back next Sunday at 6 p.m. I hope you come back to listen to me talk about my perspectives and maybe talk about romance and just continue getting to know myself. But thank you for listening. This is Raising Myself. Have a good night.